For your wife, the sadness when she has to pull the trigger, is that a natural thing? Do you still feel that anymore, or do you not? And is that all part of that process?
I think sadness is almost, it's a weird word. I just don't think our language has a good word for the feeling, because it's one of the few times where you feel an emotion that is extreme excitement and a level of respect that's different than the respect you show your peers or each other. It's like almost, I wouldn't say it's not necessarily remorse, but like a different level of respect. Like it was a very serious act. So whatever happened was very serious, yet the primal like rush of adrenaline and the primal, I guess, feeling of the hunt combined with those two things at the exact same time, both happy and sad. And it's a very strange, you think, it is just a very serious moment. And I think, I've been hunting my entire life. And for me, the emotion is still there, but it's changed. It becomes, you almost understand it better. It becomes like a friend as opposed to an enemy. Now, or not an enemy, but it's a flood of emotions. I would not be surprised if the first time you shoot a deer, you cry. And like it's a very, you would be prepared for that. You almost think, okay, what are the emotions that I'm going to feel? It's emotions that you really probably have never felt in your life. It's a strange feeling, but it's also that, I think that primal feeling allows you to kind of go past it. When it becomes food, you realize it feels natural in a strange way. It feels like there's something in our DNA that allows us to do this.
Because we used to have to do that to survive.
Correct.
And it's also nature.
It is.
I mean, this happens in nature all the time. If it's not us, I guess it's wolves and things eating bugs and other things. I mean, it's just a cycle, but nature doesn't have funerals, right?
Right.
It's just the humans that project our emotions. I mean,
correct.
Is even the word death and kill sometimes the wrong word? I know people like Ted Nugent says he harvests the animals. How do you feel about those words?
I mean, in one sense, I use the word you think like you harvest vegetables. Yes, maybe it takes away from it a little bit, but yes, it does. It is in a sense a harvest.
Is that a better way of thinking of it as opposed to a death? Because then we kind of project humanity onto these animals, which, is that the wrong thing to do, or is it the right thing?
You know, I think about it all the time. I had one experience where I was out in the mountains and I saw a old bear, and the bear was blind. And I'm watching this bear, and winter's coming, and it's skinny, and it's walking, and it bumps into a tree, and then turns around and just starts walking another direction. And I almost like hurt for it. Like, I'm so sad for this bear because I know what it's going to face. It's going to face a very painful, agonizing death. But I projected that onto it. If I really thought, once I watched it, I realized like that bear doesn't feel sorry for itself. It's a bear existing, and he doesn't necessarily, it's the natural course of what's happening to that bear.
Yeah.
It's different because you immediately want to portray human feelings and emotions to something you see. And so to realize like that bear didn't realize it was blind in a sense. It knew it couldn't see anymore, but it was just still doing what it did.
Right.
And it's very weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
And that happens in nature all the time.
It does.
And I mean, the other thing I've heard from hunters is that these animals die anyways, and that people don't think about that sometimes. They just think, oh, you're shooting the animal. But in the course of the season, these animals are going to die from lots of predator attacks, right?
Well, yeah. As a hunter, the thing that we do that other animals don't do is we project our humanity into the kill or the harvest because we want it to be as humane and painless and ethical as possible. We don't want to watch things suffer. Watching something suffer is against our own humanity. There is no I would never want to make a bad shot or have something go wrong and make an animal suffer, because that would be against my humanity in so many ways. So you think about, we almost see other animals that are also predators as just savage. Like, I've seen wolves kill elk many times, and it's an agonizing, gruesome process that I think I wouldn't want that death for anything, yet it's just part of nature. So when I go out, I hunt with my humanity as well. Like, if I am going to kill something, I want it to expire fast. I want it to be humane. I don't want it to suffer in any way.
So when you go to take that shot, there's a lot of emotions, but you're also thinking, I need to make this shot.
You need to perform, yeah.
Because if you miss it, that thing could be out, gone, bleeding, in pain for days or longer.
Yeah.
And you might never find it.
Right. If you talk to any hunter that's made a bad shot, maybe it was an accident or the animal moved at the wrong time. If that's a feeling that you would feel bad about for days. Like, your mood is changed. You'd never want that to happen, and you do everything in your power every time to ensure that doesn't happen.
Have you made a bad shot before?
I have before, and it's the worst feeling I've ever felt.
Wow. What happened? Or what's one? Is there one you can talk about? Is it harder with a bow?
Yeah, it is in some ways, but in other ways, it's not. It does happen, but not. I mean, it probably happens more in a slaughterhouse than it does for hunters in the field, to be honest. I don't know exact statistics on it, but you can imagine. I mean, I've seen and heard some stories of things that go wrong. Sometimes things go wrong. I've never really had an experience that has been where I didn't find the animal or was not able to really recover it right away. But I have made a shot that I thought, okay, I need a follow-up shot. And you just, those feelings of, okay, if I hit something poorly, that's a terrible feeling. You do everything in your power to not make that mistake, and it does happen. That's the trouble, is it can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can go wrong. Something could deflect off a branch that you couldn't see, but you just have to do everything in your power and practice. And that's why I say, for most hunters, it's not. I mean, there are a lot of hunters that it's just an activity they do every once in a while, but for myself, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle of preparation and really thinking about and studying and trying to be the best that I can for a lot of reasons. But one of them is especially just to show respect to the animals, because, I find those animals, all animals really. I mean, I'm a hunter. I love animals. People that don't eat meat, that doesn't make any sense. He's a hunter, but he loves animals. Oh yeah, he loves to kill animals. Well, if you said you could kill the last of this species, or there could be, save the species, I would always choose save the species. I love animals, but I also eat meat, and I like knowing where that meat came from. I like being a part of the process. In some ways, as a hunter, you do enjoy the primal feeling, like that feeling that I was talking about, that hard to describe feeling.
Right.
You learn to almost like hone that feeling.
Right.
I think of it like this: as humans, now if you've lived in a city your entire life, you're like a house cat that really hasn't been outside. Maybe you're a second generation house cat, right? But the second someone hits a laser pointer on the floor, what's that cat do? Tries to kill it.
Yeah.
I mean, it triggers something in its brain that it chases the prey. And there is something like that, no matter how repressed it is, that's in all of us. It's in our DNA. It's what got us to this point.